and welcome to WRPB and WRPB Studios. Okay, so you guys know me for a long time, and most of you know my story and being in Jersey and some of the experiences I had when I had a boat and not having a boat down here, which is kind of disheartening, but there's a pleasure about not having a boat. But you got to have a friend with a boat, okay? Well, with me is Jamie Chandler.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it's Summer Girl Fishing Charters?
Correct.
Okay, I got to ask you this. How long you been in the industry?
A little over 15 years.
Have you always boated?
Yes.
Okay. So we were talking before we got on the air. I had a boat. You invite your friends on, and you blink your eye when you get back to the dock, and they're all gone.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? They're all gone. Now, you're doing charters, so I guess it's part of your job to then do the end work. When they get back, they're gone, and it's okay.
Yes, I have a mate that works with me,
Okay.
and there's two of us on the boat to take
all
care
times.
of everything.
Okay. What kind of boat are you using?
I'm running a 36 Contender center console
Okay.
with triple 300 motors.
Oh, wow. Triple?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the lesson I learned boating was after I got rid of the small boats, I had a 14-foot MFG Gypsy, I had a 21-foot, a 24-foot Sea Ray, and they all had single engines. And then I had broken down, and it was a nightmare. So my next boat that I got was a 34-foot Sea Ray, and that had twin engines. Some pleasure about having a twin engine.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I knew that docking that kind of boat was pretty easy.
Yes.
Is it as easy with three engines, with triples?
Yes, it is. It's the same. So when you pull up to the dock, you only use two motors.
Okay, yeah. I
Yeah,
was
the
gonna say
center
that-
one goes to neutral.
Okay, I was gonna say it's
Yeah.
got to be a little more difficult. All right, so where are you out of?
I'm out of Fort Pierce,
Okay, so you do private charters.
private charters.
How many people usually?
I can take up to 6 people.
Okay, so you take 6 people. What's your big? Now I'm not going to ask you where you go, because that's a secret. Any good charter captain won't tell other people where they go. Okay, what do you go fishing for most of the time?
Most of the time, we try and do what's the best action going on.
Okay.
Like if it's sailfish season, we try and catch sailfish. Everybody wants to catch mahi. If they're in, we do that. Or if they want to go bottom fishing, sword fishing, trips to the Bahamas.
Well, sword fishing is a whole nother story. Is that
Yes,
correct?
it is.
And it's night?
No, you can do both night
Can
and
you?
day. Yes.
Okay, because I was told to do night and be prepared to be up all night.
Yes.
And the other one that was night a lot, I think, is snook.
Snook is more of a timed fishing. So you want to catch a certain time of the day when they're feeding.
Okay.
So you want to try and plan your trip according to so that you catch that time slot in their feeding, because they're very. If you get outside of that feeding time, more than likely they aren't going to eat anything.
Okay.
And we do some snook charters, not a lot.
This is why using a professional is so important, because if you don't use a professional and you decide to do this on your own, you'll get out there thinking you're going to snook fish and you're going to get nothing except frustrated. So I have this thing about always use a professional. The thing I learned about snook fishing, and I don't know if I'm right, is that snook fishing is best by the bridge at night, and you're supposed to fish right where that line is, where the light is and where it's dark.
That's a good spot, but there's other spots too. Yeah.
So, I mean, for me, fishing is getting in the zone. Something, first of all, let's face it, something about being on the water that's always wonderful.
Yes, it is.
How long are the trips that you do?
I usually do a half day and a full day. A half day is 5 hours, and a full day is about 8.5.
Do they? Do people find it a lot to be a full day? I mean,
Yes, they do.
it's like people say, "Oh, well, I'm only going out 5 hours." Yeah, go out 5 hours. See how you feel at the end of the 5. You'll be exhausted. You're gonna come home and you're gonna sleep for hours.
If you're not used to the waves and the sun and all
Right.
that, it'll wear you out pretty quick.
Yep. So, without saying where you go, how far? I mean, I know you've already gone to the Bahamas and stuff. Do you like kind of look at where or what's out there before you decide?
Yes.
Okay, so I call you up and say, hey, I want to go a half day. Um, do you say, what do you want to go for, or do you tell me what's out there?
I ask you what you want to catch, and I'll tell you what we're going to get the most action at. And on a half day, we're kind of limited on how far we can go.
Right.
Because I don't want to run an hour and a half, fish for an hour and a half, and then come back.
Right.
I'd rather go somewhere halfway close where you get more fishing hours in.
Yeah, well, that would make sense. Is there any fish that you prefer to fish for?
One of my favorites is mahi mahi, sailfish. Wahoo is a good time.
So I'm 66. I fished everything, never caught a sailfish.
Okay.
I will tell you this. I went out for tuna. I bought a brand new rod, brand new reel, and it's so weird how things happen. I have, because laziness, I have the rod in the corner of the boat. I get a hit. There goes the rod. My first day, rod and reel in the water. Gone.
No way.
Yep. In the water. I was so frustrated. And I think the reason that happened, if I remember correctly, because it goes back many, many years, is I had a cell phone, and I put it in my pocket, which had a hole in it, and the cell phone fell on the floor. And the back of the boat sometimes has water in it.
Yes.
And I'm thinking my phone's in the water, I'm going to lose my phone. It was $200 back then, $150, whatever. But my $700 rod and reel was gone. was gone. Very frustrating to me. And we were out where the tunas were.
Mm-hmm.
So we believed it was a tuna. And then we hooked another tuna, got it almost to the boat. It wasn't mine, and it got off. That's really disheartening. Okay.
It is, but it happens.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. Okay, so it's 2 years on the boat. What times do you leave?
Generally, we leave at 7 in the morning.
Okay. Come back 1 o'clock around?
For a half day, we'll be back at noon, and for a full day, we'll be back around 3:30.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's not so bad.
No.
And if the water is not miserable, it's a pleasant ride.
We don't go out if it's too rough. It's not good for anybody. It's not comfortable.
People get seasick?
Yes, they do. And it's just not fun. So it's not really worth. I have a cutoff limit about 4 foot. Anything more than that, I'd rather not take you, just for safety reasons and enjoyment purposes.
Right. You would be miserable. Not you, but your guests would be miserable.
Yes, they would.
So what do you recommend people bring with them when they go?
So we supply everything: ice, coolers, bait, tackle. All you have to do is bring your food and drinks and some suntan lotion.
Okay.
So you don't get sunburned.
Okay. So do you ask people, have they been on boats before?
Oh, yes.
Okay. If not, to take a drive with me?
Yes, I suggest that. Yeah, I say, hey, it's best if you have any worries, take one the night before, let it kick in while you're sleeping.
Interesting, because I've been on so many boats and ships, and I've only felt a little queasy one time.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember it wasn't my boat. I went in the cabin, I laid down, and the water was terrible. I remember him hitting a wave, and the boat went up. So that means I went up with the boat. The boat came down, but I was plastered to the ceiling until it hit the bottom. That was probably the only time I was queasy. I was on one of the gambling boats.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in the casino, so my mind was there. So I didn't really care about anything else. And when I was done and I went up to the deck, everybody was on the floor throwing up. It was so bad. So someone books a cruise with you, a fishing tour, a charter, and the next morning you find out the sea is going to be rough. Do you call them and tell them, maybe we shouldn't go out?
Yes, I do. I suggest, if I feel it's not going to be a good situation, I suggest we cancel and either try river fishing or reschedule or just whatever's best for them.
Okay, so you've been doing this a long time.
Yes.
Have you seen changes in the industry since you started?
There's a lot more people doing it. There's more and more pressure on the fish. The sharks are absolutely terrible because they quit commercial shark fishing. So a lot of times when you're out there reeling a fish in, it's basically beat the shark to the boat.
Oh my God.
Because you'll on a 40-pound fish, you'll reel up a head.
Oh my God.
And I've had them eat the whole thing before, or just the tail. But yeah, they're quite prevalent.
So, as a guest of the charter, do they get upset, or do they realize that this is out of your control?
Oh no, they understand.
They do.
Yeah. I mean, they're not happy it happens,
Right.
but you can't control nature either.
No.
Yeah.
And I get it, and I think they might look at it and say, "That's pretty interesting," or "That's pretty cool." Do they come? Do the sharks? If you bring them close to the boat, do the sharks come close to the boat?
Right next to the boat.
Do you go shark fishing?
Every once in a while, if I get a request for that, I will.
Okay, more difficult.
No, just heavier gear.
Okay.
And
Heavier than like sailfish or.
oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're running, 100-pound test with 400-pound steel leaders and big hooks, and because the shark could be anywhere from 200 to 500 pounds.
Wow.
Depending on what you catch, and they got a lot of teeth.
All right. What about fish and wildlife rules and regulations?
I stay on top of them best I can.
Right. But since you're a charter company, where I'm really going with that is, I hire you. Do I need a license?
No, I have a license for everyone.
Okay, so I don't have to worry about that part of it, and you'll make sure that I stay in compliance with
Yes.
what they need.
Yes.
Because there's slot limits and amount that you can catch and keep.
That's all my responsibility. If we get pulled over and something isn't right, it goes against me and only me.
Okay. You said bring your food and whatever you want to drink. You allow alcohol?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
People are on vacation. They want to have a good time.
Okay.
We like to have a good time fishing,
Right.
because we like to interact with everybody and joke around and have fun, because it makes the day go by and you get to meet a lot of really nice people.
Yep. When you get to where you're going to fish, let's say you're not trolling, let's just say you're fishing, do you guys fish too?
It depends on what we're doing. A lot of times if we're drift fishing for big grouper or jack, the mate and I will fish 2 rods at a time, and we'll hook the fish and pull it up off the bottom so it doesn't run back into the wreck or reef,
Right.
and break you off, and then we hand the rod off.
Okay. Because your job is to make sure that people have a good time.
Yeah, and we
And
don't
catch
want
something.
and we don't want to lose a fish.
Right.
Because a lot of people, if you're not used to it, you're not gonna react quite properly.
All right. So I asked you what people like to fish for. What do you like to fish for?
Well, sailfish, mahi, grouper, snapper. I like pretty much everything.
Okay, so sailfish. How far out do you have to go? Do you have to go far out?
I've caught them in 15 feet of water, and I've caught them in 300 feet of water.
Wow.
So
I call you up and I say, I want a charter. I want to go out on a charter. I have 4 of us going. I guess you have all the rods and the tackle and everything. So I really don't need to bring anything but my food and my drink
correct.
and my nausea medication. But besides that, I guess I'm going to meet you at the dock. Is that how it works?
Yeah, we go out of Little Jim Marina and Bait Store in Fort Pierce.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's where you drop them off. There's parking there for
There's parking. There's a restaurant. There's a
everybody to park their car.
little ship store.
Okay. What do you recommend? Like, if I say, hey, you know what, I want to go for sailfish, but you know that they're not running. Will you tell me they're not running?
Yes, I will.
And you'll go over me what's running and what might be a comparable type
Yes.
fight? Because I'm guessing that's the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's something about, we live in Florida, sailfish.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
it's on everybody's bucket list, you know.
Yeah, well,
and they're fun to catch.
Are they?
Oh yeah, they put on a really good show. We had a charter the other day, and there was a set of twins on the boat, and we had two sailfish on
Oh, wow.
at the same time,
Oh, wow.
and each twin got to reel one in at the same time.
Did you film it?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I'm like, yeah, what good is it if you don't film it?
Oh yeah.
So you get a sailfish. Do most people keep them?
Um, it's frowned upon. If you have the right permits, you're allowed to keep one a day. 99% of the time, we're gonna let it go.
Yeah. I mean, you got the
And let
picture
it-
and whatever?
Yes, because
You're not eating it.
they're not really good to eat. It's a trophy fish, and if you want to get a mount, we'll take a quick measurement for you, and all you have to do is call a taxidermist and tell him what measurement you have, and he'll have a mold for that one.
It's interesting. But I guess one of the coolest fish to catch for all purpose is mahi,
Oh yes,
because they smoke it, they eat it. It's got.
they put on a really good show too.
Oh, do they?
Oh yeah, we'll be out there, and if you get 4 or 5 on at one time, it's complete chaos. They're running, jumping everywhere.
But that makes your day go.
Oh, it's
And
fun.
it puts a
you know?
smile on
Oh yeah,
all your
everybody's
people.
laughing, having a good time.
All right, you have a website,
Yes, I do.
which is
Summer Girl Charters, fishing charters. I'm sorry.
.com.
.com.
You have a phone number?
Yes, I do. 772-209-9169.
How's the best way to contact you?
With that phone number, I'm also on Instagram and Facebook, Summer Girl Fishing Charters, or the website. Thank you very
Jamie, it was
much.
a pleasure. Everybody, here's the scenario in my eyes. In my 66 years, and I've owned boats, didn't own boats. Honestly, if you're on vacation and you say, "Oh, I'm just going to rent a boat and we're going to go fishing," it's going to cost you 5 times more when you think about the whole scenario, and 10 times more in aggravation, because you don't know what's out there, you don't know what you're going to catch, you don't know where to go. You might as well let someone else do the driving, take you to places that they know you're going to have your best shot at catching something, okay, and leaving happy, because obviously it's just business. It's going to want you to leave happy, because if you leave happy, you're coming back. With that, everybody, check them out, and we'll be right back.